it's my favorite topic because you will use it both for buyers and sellers. You'll use it for sellers when they get ready to list a house, trying to figure out what to list it at, and use it for buyers when they get ready to buy a house so that you can advise them on what the current market value of that house is. So what a comparative market analysis or current market analysis is what a particular home will sell for in the current market. It is not what it's tax assessed at. It's not what it appraised out at. It's not what it would have sold for 3 years ago. It is what in this particular current market, in this particular environment, what is the market value of that house. And you do that based on a couple things. You base it on your comparable homes that have sold. You do it on active homes that are on the market that haven't sold yet. And also, sometimes you do it on things that haven't sold, because that tells you something too, that if a bunch of houses didn't sell at this price, then it's probably not worth that price. So we determine market values by searching MLS. I'm going to go through it in just a minute, but I'm going to give you some notes real quick on kind of where you start looking at your search. And this is our fill in the blanks. Number one is you want to pull up the tax record or the old listing. Okay? That will give you the information that you need to know as far as what subdivision it's in. Very often it'll tell you how many bedrooms and baths it has, that kind of stuff. If you have privy, you don't have that? Here we go. That's okay. I'll give you one.
Oh wait, nope. I just didn't get past the rest of my things.
Okay.
So sorry.
No problem. Okay, so your tax record or your previous MLS sheet. The previous MLS sheet is even better because that's got all the information on it. It's got whether the basement's finished or not, you know, square footage, all that kind of stuff. But your tax record will at least give you subdivision and square footage. That'll help you in your search. Okay, then number two, you want to search for comparable properties that are active, pending, and sold. APS. And we're going to go through this in just a minute. But you're going to search for properties that are active, pending, and sold in the last 0 to 365 days. You don't want to look at all of them that have ever sold in a subdivision.
What do I do with like my dad's house in Plattsburgh? The most recent thing really that to the April of 2016
Okay.
is the most recent.
That's what
And then a
year.
lot of them were for 2014 and 2015. I had like one in 2016 and
You
then
need
the
to
others were
Start with a year
Okay.
back. Go back to August of 2015.
okay.
Okay. And if you can't get enough there, then you'll have to take it back another year.
Then take it.
But start at a year.
Okay.
Okay. So you're going to look for actives, pendings, and solds within the last 365 days. And what you want to do is you want to start broad and then narrow in. So the first criteria you use is area. Now, you can do either like by county in the area. City is B. You can kind of narrow it down to the city, which is B, and you're filling in the blanks. Or actually, I don't know if you guys have been on MLS enough to play with it and see. There's a little thing that you can select area like 202, 214, those type of things. Did they tell you in your MLS class what that's all about?
No.
Back in the old days, we had a map that you couldn't really search by specifically Johnson County or city or stuff. You had to search in a certain area. So they made a big MLS map and they put little areas on there. And some of us still know that. Like I know 310 is Prairie Village, you know, and 320 is Overland Park. I mean, so we kind of know that way. The 400s are Wyandotte County, the 300s are Johnson County, the 200s are Jackson County. So stuff you probably don't need to use anymore, but if you see it on an MLS sheet, that's what it means. It's that particular search area. Okay? So B is your city, C is your subdivision. Okay? Marsha's coming in, so we'll give her a second.
Okay.
That's Marsha.
I'm not late.
You are late.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I just got back from Colorado last night.
Oh,
Late.
well, thank you for being here. I'm going to go back and backtrack just a little bit for the fill in the blank stuff only, okay?
As soon as I find my pen, which is right here. Oh, goodness.
Got it?
Yeah. See, what page are you on?
We're on the CMA CMAs.
it's 7.
After
plus
your
7.
folder thing, if you did yours like I did mine.
I couldn't remember from last week what we did.
There we go.
Okay, here we go.
You got it.
Thank you, sorry.
You're
Okay, so just to recap just a little bit, is use CMAs both to come up with list price for homes and also for buyers to figure out the buying price, okay? So here's what we're gonna go through the steps in creating your CMA.
Okay.
One is you're gonna pull the old tax records, or if you have access to it, the old MLS listing, because that'll tell you a lot about the house. What's 2, Stacy?
Search, compare, or comparable properties,
Mm-hmm.
active, sold, and pending.
Yep.
In the last 365 days.
0 to 365. Okay, and then Misty, what's our first criteria that we look under?
Area or county.
Okay. Then the next thing you can narrow it down is by using the city.
Okay.
Stacy, what's the third way to narrow it down?
Subdivision.
Subdivision. Okay, you're caught up.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Now, the next thing you can do to narrow the search, because it's going to be pretty broad. If you're looking at homes in Johnson County, it's going to be pretty broad. Or if you have a really big subdivision, it's, you know, you might have several hundred homes come up that have sold in the last year. So the next thing to narrow it down is D, is the type of house it is. Okay? This could be single family or if it's a condo townhome, but it also is the type of floor plan it has, whether it's a ranch, a 2-story. And your whole purpose for doing this is to take a broad search and narrow it down to a manageable group of comparables that you can use. So if that's still too big, then we're going to put in number of bedrooms. How many bedrooms does it have? Because that's what you're going to compare it to. Next is baths. G is a basement. Is it finished or unfinished? That'll affect your comparables when you're pricing stuff out. And kind of my last little area to refine my search is garage. Usually there's 2-car garages, but some of them have 3-car garages, or some of them have 1-car garages, so the garage is the next thing. Okay? So we're going to go ahead and do one of these in here, and using Misty's, is it your dad's house that we're doing, Misty?
We could do Dad. Yeah, that one will help me a lot.
Okay.
It's Plattsburgh.
Stacy, am I in your way? Are you okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Do you live in Plattsburgh?
No, I have a friend that lives out
I have a question, or,
Sure. Now's the time to do it when I'm messing with the
Okay.
camera.
I get these emails about these classes that are at the same time as this, they're webinars, and they have to do with setting up our website and things.
Uh-huh.
Do they videotape those so we can watch them on our own time since they're at the same time as
Mhm. Yeah, I'm sure they do. They're probably under your resources. You can pull them up that way.
this? Okay,
Okay?
good.
Okay. So we're going to go ahead, and Misty's got an address that we're going to follow these steps and kind of pull up and see what we can find. So bear with me. I'm going to go on here. First thing I told you to do is do what? What's the number 1 step?
there. Full tax record or previous MLS listings.
Okay, so let's find it on the tax record. Ooh.
On your record, say go.
Okay, what county is it in, Misty?
Clinton County.
I can't do that.
Okay.
Okay, somebody needs to give me another address.
All right. So my uncle's address is Clay.
Let's do him.
Oh, that helps, good.
Yeah. Okay, so Clay, and we have his address?
Yes. 4441.
44. I may have to use this different mouse, bear with me.
No worries. It doesn't like it there.
Let's try this one. Looks like that's gonna work better.
41 North Jackson Avenue.
North Jackson Avenue. Okay, we're gonna search. Nothing. So we're gonna take the north out, so because sometimes if it's not under north, it won't pop up. Nothing.
and there,
4441
Yes.
Jackson.
4441 North Jackson.
Okay, so let's see. There is nothing in the tax records. Okay, let's try a different one. You got one more for me?
Wyandotte, or,
Go
okay,
ahead.
Wyandotte County
Got it?
at 1824 North 31st Street.
Scroll down till we get to street.
Everything but the one you wanted.
Everything. There it is. Okay. So there is Stacy's house. How can I tell? Because her name's on the tax record. There's our address. So jot down some things for me, guys, because I'm gonna need it later. Normally I print this and I can't do it. We know it's in, the subdivision is Kensington. Okay. We know it's a 2-bedroom, 1 bath. And what else do we know about this? Where's our square footage? Do we have square footage anywhere?
914.
914 square footage, right there. Okay, so those are the things we're gonna wanna know about this house. So we got that, so now let's see by any chance if we have the old MLS sheet on it. So I'm gonna search by address for sold, and tell me again?
1824 North 31st Street.
Okay, there, and you can see right here where it says 1 match. That's good, that means we've got the right one, we only have 1 match in there. There it is, so this is even better, because not only, it's a cute house, Stacy.
Thank you.
Not only can we tell it's a 2-bedroom, 1 full, 1 half bath, okay? We can tell it's 50 years old. We can tell it's got a 2-car detached garage, so see, you're even getting more information than you do in your tax search, which is helpful. Don't have to have it, but it's helpful, okay? And I try really hard not to look at what it's sold for, because I don't want it influencing me. So I'm purposely not gonna look at what it's sold for. I have no idea what you bought it for.
5,000.
Sweat. So.
Did you really?
Oh my gosh. So.
What's it worth?
We're
gonna find out
We're
today.
gonna find out.
No idea.
Okay, so now we're ready to look for our comps. So the first thing we do is we do a quick search. And what's the number 1 area we pick? What's the number 1 thing on our list?
County.
Okay, so it's in Wyandotte County, right? Wyandotte, so now we have 386 matches. So we need to keep narrowing. What's the next thing we do?
City.
I have to come over here so I can see better. I didn't bring my glasses.
Okay, what's the city? Actually, we've got to do acting, pendings, and solds, right?
Yes.
And sold days back is 0 to 365. Okay, so now we're down to 2,252 matches,
Wow.
because we just had actives before. So that's our next thing, next narrowing thing.
Kansas City.
Kansas City, okay, let's do Kansas City. And we're watching this number right here, because we're trying to get that down to a manageable group, which is anywhere from 4 to 20. Okay, Kansas City, what's our next narrowing thing? Got it down to 2,000 now.
Subdivision.
Okay, what's the subdivision?
Kensington.
Kenning.
Kensington.
There it is. I don't know why there's 2 of them, but we'll pick this one.
We'll go with the one that's shouting at us.
Now we're down to 10 matches.
Yay.
Okay, so I don't think I would narrow any more because I think you're gonna get your group too small, okay? So let's go ahead and hit results and see what those houses look like. There is a 0, 0 bedroom. There's a 1 bedroom, I'm sorry, I can't see that very well. 3 bedroom, 4 bedroom, 3 bedroom, 2 bedroom, 2 bedroom.
But we want to look at just the bungalows because that's what her house is a bungalow.
Or just the 2 bedrooms. That influences it. So
I see.
let's go back and let's narrow it by bedrooms. Okay, let's put in 2 bedrooms. Now we got 3 matches. But those are gonna be our best comps. These are houses that have sold in the last year neighborhood with 2 bedrooms, one bath. Okay, you with me? So that number 3 on your list is to refine your search. You see how we kind of refined that down? Because I really don't want to compare it to a 3-bedroom if I don't have to. If there's 2 bedrooms there, that's what I want to compare it to. Okay? So those are our 3 basic comps. Now the next thing I want to do is I want to look at them and make sure they really are comps, that one of them's not falling down or something like that. So there's one that sold for $8,000. It was a bungalow. Didn't have a garage. And Stacy, you have a garage, right?
Yes.
Okay. Being sold as is, blah, blah, blah. So it only had 1 bedroom. We've got 1.5 bedrooms. So what that tells me is we probably can do better than 8,000, right?
Right.
This isn't as nice as ours.
Right.
So let's see what the next one is. The next one sold for $7,500. It was a 2-bedroom, 1 bath, so we're still missing that half bath there. It also did not have a garage. Bring all offers, we don't know much about that one. Let's see if we have any pictures of it. Not much. So, because it's sold, we can't go inside and see what it looked like. So we don't know if it's a comp or not. We do know that we have another half bath, and we do know that we have an additional garage, right? So we ought to be able to do better than that one. So let's look at our third. Okay, our third sold for $15,000. It was, square footage was 960, so it's similar. 2 bedrooms, 1 bath. It was a bungalow, no garage, non-traditional short sale, great investment opportunity. I'm thinking this one wasn't in great shape.
Almost looks like a fucker.
It does look like a fire, doesn't it? Okay, and Stacy, I didn't see your house you bought, but I'm thinking it was in a little bit better shape than this, right?
Just a little bit.
That looked like a basement, didn't it, or not? Where those stairs go?
Yeah, I'm sure we stayed up to the basement.
Yeah.
Because now we're in basement
See
pictures.
the importance of pictures.
Mhm.
They can add or detract away from your house. Okay, so that one sold for 15, so we think we can do better than that. So basically, our highest comp for a 2-bedroom is 15,000. So we know we can do better than that. I'm gonna go back a step, and I'm gonna see what the 3-bedroom sold for. So, let me go back, I'm gonna take out the 2-bedroom. Let's go back to 10 matches, okay? So, we've got,
3-bedroom ranch sold for 50.
there's a 3-bedroom, there's a 3-bedroom, and there's a 3-bedroom. Here's a neat little trick too, if you go to refine and you go to narrow, it'll get rid of all the other junk, just keep the stuff you're looking at.
Fantastic.
Okay? So, you gotta go to refine and narrow. So now, we know a 3-bedroom sold for $40,800. So already what that's telling me is our price range is somewhere between 15 and 40. Does that make sense? Because we don't
That's a
have.
pretty big price
It is
range.
really big. But as you can see, that's
That's a cute house.
a cute house.
Mhm.
Okay, beautiful 2-door, has spacious 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, blah, blah,
That area is very inexpensive, isn't it?
There's a reason for that.
blah. So, and our house is arguably not as nice as this one. And the other thing that we know that's not quite, I mean, it might be as beautiful, but it's not as big, I will bet. If you go to the tax record, you can see that one square footage is 1804.
Twice
So
as
it's
much.
twice the square footage. Okay, so now we're between 15,000 and 40,008. So we know we can't do 40,000, and we know we're not 15. So then it becomes a guessing game. It becomes a guessing game.
Didn't you list it for 28?
Can you search by location closest to her house to find others that are real close by, or have you already done that?
Yeah.
These are all in her subdivision. We can look at them on the map. They're all close by.
Okay, all right.
You know, every single one of them is just right there.
Right, and they're all.
Yeah, so that's a tough one to comp. That's a tough one to comp. What do you think it's worth?
I would probably put it on the market around 30.
Okay,
Have you done a
Only
lot
because of the
on
work
it?
I've done to it, yeah.
I think if you kept it under 40, you'd be fine. You know what I mean? You may not get that exact amount, but if you kept it in the 20s or the 30s, you'd be absolutely fine with that. Okay. Most of them are a little easier to comp than that, but that's a good one to start with. With the comp. Okay, so let's say we were going to do, let's look at our results again. Okay, I'm gonna throw out the 4 bedrooms, okay? So you can also check on stuff you wanna discard, like those 4 bedrooms, Rex. Those 4 bedrooms, you can hit refine, you can hit discard, and it gets rid of stuff you wanna do too. Okay. So, and I'm gonna take out the 0.
Because that must just be land, right?
What that is, might be a efficiency of
Oh.
some sort. Don't know, but.
Is this area not very safe?
What?
My particular neighborhood, I don't have any problems, but generally that area, no. It's, yeah.
Okay, so let's see what else we wanna kick out of here. Let's just look at all of them that are left. We'll go to full photo. There's one that sold for 50, and although we don't think we can sell ours for 50, that gives us an idea of what could happen. Okay, so we're gonna keep that one in. This one sold for 99.5. It's only 966 square feet. Goodness gracious.
That looks
Never
fun.
know.
Beautiful remodel from floor to ceiling.
You just get outside pictures.
Can't tell anything. Beautiful remodel. Because it's so far out of the ball game with all the other ones, I kind of take out the high and the low, if that makes any sense. Let's take that one out too. Okay, this one was 8, but we think we can do better than that. We're gonna leave it in because it is a 2-bedroom, so we're gonna leave it in there. There's another 2-bedroom, we're gonna leave it in there, although we think we can do better. There's one that we know we can do better than that one too. This is kind of our high end. Not the same house.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did we
Different
look at the
prices.
inside of that one or not? Nope, we just have outside. Oh, there we go, that has some inside pictures.
They didn't have very good inside pictures.
Okay, we'll keep that one in there. And I don't know why they have 2 for the same one.
It looks like it was
I think it
listed at
resold.
55.
It must have resold, sold for, bought for 40 and then sold for 48. Okay, so we're gonna keep that in. So here we are, so now we're gonna narrow again, so just the stuff we want. Now here's another little cool trick you can do. You ready? This is all of them that are somewhat comparable, okay? Some of them are better than worse. There's no real good comp in this mix because there's not a 2-bedroom that's had all the work done that Stacy did on hers. So when there's no good comp, you kind of have to keep the highs and the lows in there a little bit. Here's a trick that I like. You can go to stats, tabular. This shows there's one active listing for 50 grand right now. That's our competition. They have sold, there's 5 that sold in the last year. They sold from 75 to 480. So our average sales price is 22,260 in that neighborhood. Okay? So then we look at Stacy's and we go, okay, is it better or worse than average? And if it's better than average, you come up with a $30,000 list price. If it's worse than average, then you come up with a $20,000 list price.
Difficult one there.
It's a hard one. That was a really hard one to do. But I wanted to take you through the procedure, okay? So these are what we're going to use as our comps when we discuss it with people. So now you can create a CMA that you can print out and take with you on the listing appointment by just clicking right here on Cloud CMA. Has anybody done this yet?
Mm-mm.
Okay. There's a couple different ways to make CMAs and I'm going to tell you about it, but this is the easiest one to show you right now. Okay, first thing you need to do is you need to click on Cloud CMA and put your information in there. Put your picture in there, put your name, your phone number, all that kind of stuff, okay?
So that set up your,
Set up your Cloud CMA first. Set up your profile is number 1. And then when you do that, you can go through these CMAs and pick your favorite pages that you want included in this. The first one, I would include all of them and then figure out which pages you don't like. Okay, and narrow it down. And then number 3 is create your CMA. As you can see, the MLS numbers for the houses we looked at automatically populate right there. So we're going to create this for Stacy. You're going to EY Stacy
No.
Okay. And we're gonna put the address, property address in again, tell me one more time.
1824 North 31st Street.
And that's Kansas City, Kansas.
Yes.
Which comes up right here, 66104.
Yep.
Okay, so there it is. Photo, you can actually choose a property photo, so you could take one of the photos off of MLS if you wanted to, or leave it blank. It's residential. What's our square footage?
914.
How many bedrooms?
2.
And 1.5 baths?
It's actually just one.
Okay, okay. Okay, and then we go fetch listings. Okay, it's gonna show us right where her house is, right there. It's gonna show us where the other houses are. The reds are sold, I think the blues are pending, and the green is her house, I think. Or maybe it's the other way around. It gives you what we found was there's a low, a medium, and an average of the active listings and the sold listings. Okay? Number of listings, 1 active, 5 sold. Tells you about them right here. Ready? Now we're gonna customize our report. And here's where you can pick and choose the pages you want. I've already done that, so I'm not gonna go through all of them with you, but these are the pages that I chose that I want. And publish report.
How slick is that?
It's pretty easy.
That's neat.
It's pretty easy. So it's gonna put together a report. The key was we narrowed down our comps before we went to Cloud CMA.
I'm about the Cloud CMA, number 4, number 5.
Uh-huh.
Did I miss what you said for those?
You're gonna check your comparables.
Okay, number 4 is check comparables.
And then click on Cloud CMA. Okay, so there's Stacy's house. We're gonna view the report. Okay, here's what in front of it looks like. It says there's Stacy's house right there. This explains what is a CMA. These are all pages that I chose for it to automatically use. If you don't like the page, don't use it. If you do, let it go. There's me. There's a map of all the listings. There's a summary of the comparables. There's the property details for all the comparables. And the pictures. So I can sit down here and just, what we just did together, I do with my clients. Said, okay, here's our competition. This is the only active listing we have out there. It's a 3-bedroom and it's listed for $50,000, which means we probably can't get $50,000 in this market if the 3-bedroom hasn't sold for 50. Okay? Here are our solds. This is what we base our comps on. There was a 2-bedroom that sold for $8,000, a little smaller square footage than you did, but you can see it needed a lot of work and ours is in better shape. So I think we can do better than 8. Here's one that sold for 75. You with me?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm explaining what I'm looking at, and I'm getting Stacy to buy in. So Stacy, your house is much nicer. It says 75. We think we can do better than that, correct?
Yep.
Okay. Because I'm not going to tell Stacy what our house is going to sell for. We're going to come up with a price together.
Do you take this out on your laptop or have them come in here, or do you print it out, or all of the above?
You can do anything that you're most comfortable in. I print it out and I bind it. I'm going to show you some examples in a second, and I go to their house with it. We sit down at the kitchen table and go through it. Okay? Here's one that sold for 15. It was a 2-bedroom. Again, it needed some work, so I still think we can do better than this. What do you think, Stacy?
Yep.
Okay, let's look at our next one. Here's some pictures. It's pretty rough. Okay? This one we jump up quite a bit. We sold for $40,800, but it's a 3-bedroom. Okay? It was built in 1930, and as you can see, it's beautiful, but the square footage, I would have written that square footage in, is twice what yours is.
Yeah.
So my guess is we probably can't sell it for $40,008. So that's kind of our top. So we know our bottom is 15 and our top is $40,008. And then I would just go through all of them, show them what I found, show them the pictures, get them to buy in. Okay. Then I talk about why you need a real estate professional, what I do, okay, to help them get it done. The value of their home is based on a lot of factors: location, size, number of bedrooms, baths. Okay. And I'm missing my page that I normally have in here. I'm missing some stuff here. Hang on a second. We'll have to do it on another presentation to see. There's a whole page that talks about, this is what I would suggest you sell your house at, so on and so forth. I'm sorry, it's not in there for some reason. And I must have messed with it when I was doing a presentation of it.
How exciting.
Anyway, it really puts it all together for you. I have an example of it right over here. I'm gonna show you.
So there are some times when it is hard to set a price.
Oh my gosh. That's why you get paid the big bucks. I would say most of the time it's hard to set a price. That's one of the hardest things we do. Okay, so let me show you kind of what the presentations end up looking like. Here is the Toolkit CMA one, okay? And we'll have all the pages in there. So, what is a CMA? There's the contact me page, the map of all the listings, the comps, summary of all the comparable properties. We had much more for this house than we did for Stacy's. Then it's got individual pages and photos on all of them. So I just sit down and this is what we go through. We just go through it together, okay? Then this page shows you the statistics, the number of listings. It shows you on a chart what they were listed for, their average price, how many days on the market, okay? So that's a good page to throw in there. This is the sold property analysis. It shows the list price versus sales price. So it gives an idea. And then commission distribution. This is when I talk about what I get paid to list their house. And it talks about I'll charge a 6% commission because if I'm working with another agent, I have to give them 3 and I keep 3. But you got to realize that we really don't keep that 3 because the buyer's agent has to pay the buyer's broker and the listing agent has to pay the listing broker. So I kind of explain that.
That's a good thing to explain.
Yep, why you need a real estate professional, about getting in at market value to get the best price. That's a good one on that. Time on the market. Lots of people will tell me, well, let's just price it at this and then if it doesn't sell, we'll reduce it. The reason that doesn't work is the longer it's on the market, the less you're going to get for it in the long run. That's what that graphic displays. Talks about the importance of curb appeal, how to do showings and open houses, things that we should do for cleaning up your showings, okay? All this stuff, it takes me through making sure I have all these discussions with them,
Yeah.
okay? And then talks about short sales and foreclosures, the value of your home, and then that's what I tell them I think it come out to what we ended up needing to price it at. So all that's free, all that's on MLS. You can print it out here in color copies, and we have this little thing here that'll bind it for you. If you go to a house with that in your hand, you're going to look better than most of the realtors in Kansas City. Okay? There are other CMAs you can do. Okay? There is Toolkit CMA.
I think I like that one, David. It's been
That's pretty slick too. This is the one I use, truthfully, because I just think it's a little nicer look. It will not be this big for your client because I have printed out every page you can possibly have in here just to show it as
a big giant book
Yeah.
that it is.
This does cost you. It costs you $8 a month only on the months you use it. But you can do 27 of them in 1 month and it's $8. You can do 0 1 month and it's $0.
Do they have better tax?
They better what?
Do they have better? Like I know this one, our cloud one only does cast clay. Does
No.
that one have a better tax record? No. Okay.
No, that's our MLS. It only does that. Okay.
Okay.
So Toolkit CMA is another way to go if you want to get on there and play with it.
CMA is not the same as Toolkit CMA.
Two different
Pay for
things.
Cloud CMA.
Cloud CMA is free. There's Toolkit CMA if you want to look at it. But it will literally calculate comps for you, the whole bit in there too. Print it in color. Spend the money and print it in color. It goes a long way. And what I do is before I go on an appointment, I go through and highlight the differences. Like for instance, this one house that was listed for that sold for like $7,500, okay, for Stacy. I would highlight that it was an as-is. You know what I mean? I would highlight the differences between, so it's easier when you're sitting down talking to them. You can sit down and explain the differences in the CMAs. Okay?
So when you say print it in color,
Yep.
we put in our agent number or something and they charge us so much per page for color?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And do they charge us for binding as well?
What you can do, they will charge you to sell you this piece and this piece and this piece, Abby has those for sale, or you can go to Office Depot and buy them yourself. We've got the binding machine here.
Okay.
So whatever you want to do. If you're going to be doing quite a few, it might make sense to buy it yourself. There's Toolkit CMA. Top Producer is a database management company. They have a CMA if you want to use theirs. The only one that's for free is the Toolkit CMA right now. Anything else will cost you money. So my suggestion to you is use these. Use the free ones to get started. You know what I mean? And then if you find that you want to play with Toolkit CMA or something that costs you money, you can certainly do that. Okay. Now, we are going to take this show on the road. We're going to go back to the computers. I have some houses that I want you guys to sit at a computer and come up with CMAs for them. You okay with that? Okay.